So it's time for us to go and take a look at the Google Pixel Watch and compare it against the Samsung Galaxy Watch 6 and see which specific one is the better one for you. Now, both of these watches are very, very different from one another. There's not really like one specific watch that is like the best one between both, so keep that in mind. But per person and per user out there, you might end up using one over the other just because one is a better feeling one or one is just has more features or whatever the case is. Now, if you want to pick up either one of these watches, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the outside, the Google Pixel Watch only comes out in one specific size. Now, it is kind of like, it's not the biggest model of all time, but it is that, basically that 41mm variant. Now, I think it's cool. I think it's great. I always thought Google was going to release a bigger model of these watches, but they didn't. But I'm going to be honest, I like the way the Google Pixel Watch looks. I think it looks phenomenal. And I still think, almost a year later, it looks very good. There's not a lot to complain about there on that Pixel Watch. It looks like a very good watch. With the Watch 6, on the other hand, you are getting probably an equally good looking watch. It's that circular design as well. And it is a flat display. The Pixel Watch is more curved. The Galaxy Watch 6 is more flat. It is a circular design. You have the buttons on the side as well. And it looks very good. With the Galaxy Watch 6, it does come out in two different variants. So you can get that 40 or 44mm size. And that's another cool thing that you're getting on that type of watch. The fact that you're able to go ahead and basically have this watch come out in those different sizes is really, really cool. And like I mentioned before, I'm a fan of, having more choices, but that's something that I actually do like on my, Galaxy Watch as well. Now, like I said, kind of same design, but it's like a flat side on the Watch 6, curved design on the Pixel Watch. On the back, you do have the charging pad where you can charge up these watches. You are able to wirelessly charge your Galaxy Watch 6 from your Samsung watches or Samsung Galaxies, but the Pixel Watch, I don't think you can charge from your Google Pixel, which is a very weird thing. Hopefully Google ends up addressing that in the future, but that does take us to the bands. I will say the stock bands that you get within the box, I think are better on the Google Pixel Watch, but I also feel like from what I've seen and from what I've done, the Google Pixel Watch band, like, attaching bands and unattaching bands and all that, it's a smoother, better experience on the Pixel Watch rather than on the Samsung Galaxy Watch. So I feel like Samsung still needs to improve this, and hopefully they can address this because even Google, the first time around they made a Pixel Watch, it's actually a better experience to attach and detach the bands rather than the Galaxy Watch 6. So we'll see what happens in the future, but I really do hope Google kind of, ends up either helping Samsung here or Samsung ends up, kind of looking at their competition, because that is still one of the areas that I complain the most about. And hopefully they kind of address this in the future as well. Now, that kind of covers it up on the outside. Now, they're still rocking kind of the same type of Android, Wear OS type of, device structure that we're using. So realistically speaking, the features and everything on a stock Google Pixel Watch are going to be there on the Galaxy Watch as well. But the Galaxy Watch is probably going to have more features built in one way or another than on something like the Pixel Watch. Samsung, just like you look at One UI versus stock Android, One UI typically has more features built in than stock Android. So that's just something that we've seen for years now, and that's probably going to end up happening here as well. So kind of just another thing to keep in mind there too. On top of that, with something like a Galaxy Watch 6, you are still getting the more variants you can choose from, meaning that you could potentially, if you get that bigger model, could have a bigger size battery inside of that device too, which is probably another thing to keep in mind as well. But the choice is kind of yours of whether you get the small one or the big one. Performance-wise, you are going to be getting very similar type of performing watches between both. They both have 2GB of RAM inside. They both really, although the chipsets aren't like one-to-one, you're still getting basically like, you're not going to do anything wild on a chipset inside of these devices is basically what I'm saying. So you're really just going to be, at least from what I do, check notifications. I'm going to be responding back to people, tracking my workouts, different things like that. I'm not really going to be doing anything insane or intensive on either one of these devices. So I think that's just one thing I've seen time and time again. And that kind of takes me to how these watches kind of compare. And to be honest, between both, I really don't think there's one watch that stands out to me as like the best watch of all time, or the one that's like way better than the other one. I think they're both kind of in the same type of league where it's like, well, if you own a Google Pixel, you could probably, you should just buy the Pixel Watch. If you own a Galaxy Watch, Galaxy S series phone, you should just buy a Galaxy Watch 6. But I actually do think that the Galaxy Watch 6 is probably the better watch between these two. I think those are the ones that, even though the band structure is a little weird, is probably the one that's going to stand out to me as the one I would recommend most people to buy. And that's the one I would recommend people to buy more than probably like the Pixel Watch in my opinion. But the Pixel Watch is still great. I like that watch a lot. It just so happens that the Watch 6 is probably the one I'd recommend more people to buy. So that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.